Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Tyranny with me, Bring It On. Let's deal with these Bane and then enter the Silent Archive, which honestly just sounds a lot like a library to me. Alright, Barrick, charge into the fray. Oh, I had just seen that too. I saw this little red particle effect.
Do you have eyes on this?
Alright, now Barrick, charge into the fray. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Don't want to cast a false pit on myself.
I will
I think we're bad at making shots.
Lantry, come up here. I want you to cast haste on Barrick. I guess healing aura on Barrick as well. Alright, Verse, catch this guy on fire and then cut him down with Fury's Embrace and Skewer. Barrick going without a taunt. Lantry, heal yourself up, and then Surge of Glory. These two.
As you command.
Let's see, Sunder and Thrust. Darn, I was hoping my main character get the kill there for his, what's it called? Rampage. It's okay, we can thrust here, and Verse, can you squeeze back here? Perfect. Use Sweeping Death. Even though the bleed doesn't apply to the Bane, it's still just a ton of damage.
Don't enjoy this as much as I do. No. That was satisfying.
keep your filthy hand.
Yep, there's the 15 accuracy for getting the last hit on that enemy. Oh, Verse, you're in a little bit of trouble here, aren't you? Lantry healing Wisps.
At one.
I will aid you.
Oh, he died to burn.
Intrigue.
Another scroll.
Right.
Dusty Missive. This missive is a reply intended for Sage Renata. It urges her to make an important decision about the future of their guild. Evidently, the sages were often used as mediators between the armies, oftentimes because Graven Ash simply refused to work with the Voice of Nerat due to the troubled past between the two. So that's right here. Well, I mean, it's understandable if considering the Voice of Nerat was having his people tortured, disfavored, and Graven Ash can feel what his soldiers feel. So what if he knew that the Voices was torturing his soldiers? I feel like he has to, right? I know his ability isn't infallible, because he didn't know exactly what happened to his son. He just knows that he wasn't killed by normal means. I think he thought it was magic. And his son was... I forget, do we know what happened to his son? We know his son was killed. Anyway, read that poem again. It might help us with the barrier. Do I actually have to read it? I can click on these. Well,
Yes.
we'll deal with that in a second. Let's go up here first. This room is mysteriously untouched by the destruction that ripped the rest of the library apart. The scrolls look completely undisturbed on the intact shelving. This is new magic stuff. Sigil of Influential Domain. Oh, it's a new expression. What's about time? Freeze the ground in an area. Enemies in the area periodically receive a stacking penalty to recovery. It might slip and fall prone. So say here, expression used to create spells that affect all targets within a circular area. Okay, nothing there, nothing there. What the heck? Here we go. Restore the land. Create a healing field in a large area. Allies in the area have a random hostile effect removed and have their maximum health increased. Sounds pretty good. Arid lands. Channel energy to form a sweltering zone of sultry heat in the area. As long as enemies remain in the field, they are continually fatigued. That sounds pretty good. Slumber. Muddle the minds of foes in an area, forcing them into a potent sleep, unaffected by the noise of combat. Attacks will wake sleeping enemies. Honestly, I'm very disappointed the Sigil of Stone doesn't have one. Like, this should be like an earthquake spell or something that can knock enemies prone. Man. Alright, a little disappointed with that expression, honestly. Alright. Oh, I have to click on the actual icons. Okay. I remember that poem said, like, north, east, south, and west. So north, south, west, east. Never eat soggy waffles. That's how I was taught the 4 cardinal directions.
Sorry, I can't.
Shield plans. These partial plans describe the process for crafting a powerful shield, but more research is needed to fill in the gaps in the plan. And research it at the library. Another spell upgrade. Timeless Form 2, well that's a little outdated. Because we're currently using Timeless Form 3 on most of our spells, so. Alright, to the Silent Archive. Let's see what the big deal is. Alright, so I'm going to assume this is going to take us back to that, that green doorway that we saw at the entrance to the Burning Library. Only because that door is the same color as the door we just went through. I'm going to quick save. There shouldn't be anything down here, right? We fought Bane in the library proper. But I feel like this area should be sealed off against Bane and, you know, everybody else. So I wonder if there's going to be a boss fight. I guess if that thing can resurrect the sages on the altar. Or pedestal. Never mind, here's our boss fight. Well, I assumed it would be you who would emerge as the victor in this game. I must say I'm a little disappointed. You're able to dispatch all my men so readily. The fear of death is a great motivator, but causing death seems to motivate you a little more. I guess I'll have to show a more discerning eye in my recruiting. But your string of successes ends here. Your body will join with those of the sages on the altar. It's rather amusing if you think about it. They may have stopped the building from collapsing, but they couldn't stop the Edict, or the Scarlet Cores. All they did was sacrifice themselves for a scrap of parchment they're going to lose anyway. Funny, when you ran away crying, I figured you were scared of me. Don't confuse caution with cowardice, Fatebinder. It's easier to assess an opponent when you know what he is capable of. You seem quite capable, but I think you'll find me to be as well. You will not have the Silent Archive. Well, I thank you for helping... Well, I thank you for your help opening up the passage and finding the Silent Archive. You are no longer of any use to me. It's time to end this.
Heads up.
Alright, well, let's get our buffs out first.
We have come.
Step right up. Come. Find your death.
Alright, Lantry is getting focused a little bit. Just because I can, I'm going to put this on him. So he drops below his 35% health threshold, he gets a big heal. Let's get his defensive buffs on him next, and then haste Barrack. So you light this guy on fire, and then knock him down. Fury's Embrace, and Skewer. I guess we're not gonna catch him on fire. I must have missed it. Not a big deal. We'll do it after. Alright, heal up like this. Or not heal up, sorry, buff up. That's what I meant. I can't zoom in any further here. Alright, healing wisp right there, and I guess we'll buff up over here. Oh, so now she's using Eternal Flame. Did I not use that first? It's not a big deal. But if it works, right? Who am I to complain? Alright, Lancer, you need to hang in there, buddy. I guess Orb of Life right here. Oh, this little thing didn't activate. Or did it? Oh, it must have already triggered. It's burning through his health then. It's alright, we have a revive right here. So bring him back real fast and gonna skewer that guy. Alright, welcome back to the land of the living, Lantry. Let's see. Race the record yourself first.
Damn thing couldn't pierce cloth.
Alright, Sunder. Let's thrust this guy. Verse, get behind him. Or you know, not. I guess go after this guy then. Catch him on fire. Barrack, taunt.
I'm on it.
I should have used Undying in the beginning. They probably would have kept Lantry. Well, maybe not. Lantry's taking a lot of damage. I don't know if there's actually a way to keep him alive in this fight.
Hey, you won't enjoy this as much as I do.
Alright, verse. Let's see. Fury's Embrace, and then Eternal Flame.
I'm on it.
Lantry can drop this. Then False Pit the Sensor. Wait, no, the Sensor's dead. Hey, main character got the kill too. Awesome. Alright, not as smooth as it could have been, but we still came out on top. Oh, the Crimson Great Spear. It's not unique, which makes sense. Because all the Crimson Spears get a Crimson Great Spear, so. Sensor's Grip. So charred plus 10 fire armor. Kindling on crit, burning for 9.2 seconds. These gloves are blackened from attempts to read smoldering manuscripts from the burning library. Well, I'm not going to use them, but I want to see how they look, at the very least. They look like something that back when I was in high school, people would wear. Like they'd purposely rip like gloves and stockings and stuff like that.
Shiny.
For that,
I
you know,
like it.
super edgy look.
Right.
Back when, I guess, scene kids were first blossoming. There's a time where I was considered a scene kid. Or emo, depending on who you asked. Obsidian Fragment. The stone here is flecked with small bits of obsidian. One larger piece juts out from the wall and looks like it could be removed. Remove the Obsidian Fragment from the wall. Sweet. That's what we need for our little
Spotted something.
artifact weapon. Chronicler's Eye. So plus 10 lore of legends, wise, plus 10 will defense. This lens of distorted sea glass was originally used to augment the failing eyesight of sage hierarchs. A popular belief is held that enough documents of arcane lore pass to the eye by way of this lens that the glass itself is learned over time, taking on strange properties. Well, Lantry, looks like we got you a new present. We'll replace this. The resolve is great and all, but he doesn't need it. Staff of Hours. Oh, it's an artifact. So distortion, plus 50% graze deflection, plus 50% hit deflection. That's pretty good, especially for a mage like Lantry who's, you know, super squishy. So ability, Slowing the Sands. Dramatically slow enemies in a targeted area. These effects scale with the Staff of Hours renown. This glowing staff bears the mark of the sages. It was wielded by the hierarch of the Velum Citadel before the Edict of Fire destroyed the ancient library fortress. The staff has passed down unknowable numbers of hands over the centuries, and tradition dictated that every owner imbue it with an expression of their magical aptitude. Runes encircle the length of the staff, each in a different style, some describing the names of dead archons and other fragments of inscrutable poetry, all intended to unlock some hidden potential. The staff's current aspect is that of its previous owner, Hierarch Jespers, who was an accomplished illusionist and trickster. The staff has served different purposes through its long career. It was often employed to preserve old documents or repair sections of the Citadel. Dark stains around the haft tell of a time when it was dipped in vats of ink, a doomed effort to replicate the magic behind the bottomless cistern of ink known as the Everwell. An Elixir of Wits! Awesome. We'll use that on my main character. So soldiers and scholars alike drink the Elixir of Wits to heighten their mental acuity and sense of observation. Scouts can ensure that they don't miss critical details on a mission, and academics can capture the subtext of even the most enigmatic tomes of lore. Some imbibers have complained of senses sharpened beyond any desired capacity, but a few dozen outliers shouldn't cast a shadow over proven results. Let's see, we're at what, 11 wits? We're at 10. Now we're at 11. And I'm going to give Lantry this staff. Yeah, so I can use any weapons with this stance, so we're going to give him the staff instead. I won't get rid of his quill,
Finally, I get to use something older than me.
but he's not going to use it anymore, because that staff, the passive for one is just super good. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I could bend that apart.
He doesn't get any particular bonuses from using his quill at this point. I mean, he has a couple of abilities that I don't really use anymore. Quill Strike and Watcher's Judgment. But, yeah, I think I like this more. The altar sits in the middle of a lake of lava, encircled by ritual braziers. The bodies of the sages who gave their lives to stop the library's collapse are littered around the central pedestal. First Sage Arwell's directives. Sage Torvin. Kyros' armies have been rebuffed for now, but it's only a temporary victory. I have no doubt that we may hold these walls a good deal longer, but you must remember that the Overlord aims not to butcher the Citadel's keepers, but to destroy its secrets. Kyros is not omnipotent. Her powers may be known and understood in time, and she rightly fears the knowledge we hoard here. The Silent Archive must be protected. There's no library in the tiers that is its equal. Nothing else matters. Nothing. We may not know the Overlord's plans, but with time and research, we can circumvent any of her designs. I need you to ensure that we will have that time when the moment is right. Focus your efforts on Sage Stea's theoretical phrase into temporal magic. While we were right to deny such dangerous experimentation before, Now is the time in which its risks are justified. Gather the Elder Sages and make your way to the lower chambers. You're to remain there until you devise a solution to Staea's problems of scale. Halting the flow of time in a single chamber won't be sufficient if Kyros drowns us all in a storm, or hurtles this library into the firmament. You must find a way to encase all of the Citadel in such a spell, should disaster come. Your success isn't optional. This library will be a distant memory if Kyros has her way. Should we both survive, I'll be happy to congratulate you on your breakthrough. Until then, get to work. Per Sage Arwell. Sage Torvin's notes. Sage Litotes? Litotes? We can't help you with this ringing in your ears just yet, so we'll have to make do until the conflict is over. Yes, Arwell was very explicit in his directives. I know they seem impossible, but that is the situation we face. Everyone that could interpret the Silent Archive died in last night's attack, so we're not getting any assistance in this matter. Thankfully, I do have an idea, one which requires everyone's participation. Scale is the issue. Staea's last experiments only affected as much as a small chamber. I believe that we can amplify the spell's effects by repeating the motions of its sigils as a group, similar to the ritual magic used in primitive cultures that predated modern tiersmen. Sage Dangling Participle... What? Sage Dangling Participle, that's his name, believes that this will create an exponential growth in the spell's effects, but at an expected cost of stability. I'm inclined to agree. Also, we have no other ideas. No one else here has your expertise in magical foci. You've told me countless times how minor baubles can have a profound leveling effect on spells that exceed the control of their casters. What if we use something as powerful as an artifact as the focus of the ritual? Without one, the energies involved will quickly become chaotic and almost assuredly deadly for all of us. At least with an artifact, there's a chance that Staea's spell will encompass the entire Citadel and put it into a state of stasis. In my opinion, there's only one artifact to use, and that's the Silent Archive itself. It's clearly the most potent object in this room. Sage Dangling Participle believes that the Staff of Hours will suffice, but I'm not going to leave anything to chance. Better that we use the Silent Archive as our focus now, and figure out how to safely retrieve it later. Not if you agree after reading this. I really hope that blast didn't take your side as well. Sage Torvin. Let's quick save. Remove the scroll and replace it with one of your artifacts to keep the protective magics from ending. So examine the scroll, take a closer look at the Silent Archive. Alright, hold on. Before I do anything... Oh, I do have an extra artifact, don't I? Because I'm not using Penumbra. I could. But I don't have any plans to. And Varric is being a little stingy with having, multiple weapon artifacts. Or artifact weapons. A nimbus of magical energy surrounds this scroll, which levitates above the central platform. You see characters upon the parchment, but they seem to shift from one language to the next. Amazing. I suspected there was more to the Silent Archive than a simple vault. Extraordinary. The scroll must represent thousands of scholarly works. The motion of the characters on the scroll's surface slows as you approach, seemingly in response to your presence. Examine the magical aura surrounding the scroll. Waves of energy radiate out from the scroll, billowing up towards the ceiling and fanning out to encompass the cavernous chamber. It appears that this Silent Archive is an active participant in some sort of ongoing spell, one that is likely keeping the burning library standing. Removing the scroll would assuredly have disastrous effects upon the active spell. Analyze the active spell. This must be the time stasis spell referenced in Sage Arwell's letter. Judging by the bodies arrayed around the Silent Archive, the mages appear to have been successful in their attempts to halt the destruction of Kyros' edict, but they did not survive the process. Identify the spell's focus. Sage Lilotes' experiments with foci clearly paid off. The spell protecting the burning library is operating at a massive scale. Its chaotic energy is currently stabilized by the Silent Archive itself. Read the scroll. The parchment surface is impossible to read, ever shifting and convoluted. You see characters from Old Verdant written over calligraphy of the Northern Empire, which transforms into words used by the nomadic tribes of ancient Azur, and then again into phrases of the common tongue of the Tiers. It is as if every word ever written or uttered clashes upon the scroll. Touch the scroll. You reach out to touch the scroll, but as soon as your hand passes through the cloud encasing it, a violent tremor erupts in the hall. The shaking continues for a few seconds, and then vanishes. I'd proceed cautiously, Fatebinder. Not even these ruins should remain standing after Kyros' edict. I suspect the sages use the Silent Archive in some way to stave off destruction. What are you? As you utter the question, the scroll surface is suddenly wiped clear. After a moment, words begin to form on the page. Indeed, the Silent Archive is meant to be the final source of knowledge. Every text we have magically transcribed bubbles beneath its surface, waiting to be called forth. First Scribe Gaynor, Sage Archival Methodologies, Volume 8. Fatebinder, should this be true, the Silent Archive may be worth more than some of the old realms. The passage fades away, only to be replaced by another. The Silent Archive is the 100-year endeavor of the School of Quillen Ink. As one of its creators and guardians, I've ensured that its knowledge may only be accessed by the sages of my order, and only those specifically charged with such a weighty responsibility. The Silent Archive is thus a glittering jewel that only a few may see. Should the artifact fall into outsider hands, I expect that less than 1 in 100 of its secrets will be revealed in the span of a lifetime. First Sage Arwell, Legacies of the School of Quillen Ink, Volume 20. I keep trying to put ink before quill. In the blink of an eye, the scroll's text disappears, only to be replaced by a chaotic swirl of overlapping letters and words. It refuses to respond to any further questions. So if I just take it, what happens? Can I put another artifact in there? Also, let me do this real fast. Let's take the Silent Archive. Are you so eager to bring the library down on our heads that you'd pull out the only linchpin? So be it. We'll take the scroll. I thought I could put an artifact. It said I could put an artifact in there.
There's no chance of you putting that back, is there?
Okay, this isn't what I wanted to do. I'm going to reload this because I thought that little icon said I could put one. Maybe it's because it was equipped. I have to unequip the artifact so I can use it. I pride myself on surviving close calls, but I appreciate a heads up next time. Is the edict through, or did we forget something inside? Because I'm not going back there. The air surrounding you begins to thin. The smell of embers begins to diminish. The clouds of smoke slowly revealing the sky beyond them. Slowly disperse. You feel a powerful pulse of warm energy burst from the Silent Archive. Sound disappears into a deafening silence. Your vision blurs. You're overcome by a dizziness that nearly knocks you off your feet. And as quickly as it hits you, the feeling passes. The air around you begins to settle, and the particles of fire and ash moments ago stung your eyes dissipate with a chilly gust. With the Silent Archive removed from the burning library, the edict of fire is extinguished, and its warmth feels pulled into your very chest. So much knowledge turned to smoke and ash. Ending the edict can't undo the damage, but perhaps now this place can be rebuilt. Hope future scholars can unearth whatever remaining books and scrolls are still buried within. I do love watching someone's hard work unravel like an old sweater. If you ever meet Kyros, ask how long it took to draft the Edict of Fire. The sages had better shape up and share their knowledge this time. Hoarding it got them there, and I hate to think that history might repeat itself. The shape and intensity of the fires leap into your mind. The details of the mighty incantation, the wording, the magical logic of the flames, are all seared into your mind with perfect recall. The Edict of Fire is now a part of you. Alright, I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to reload and try and put an artifact in there instead. Thank you for your assistance. I can finish anything else in the library that requires the disfavored's attention while you return to Graven Ash. I'll send in my full report as soon as I'm able. Should you need any assistance in the future, you have but to ask. Alright, well, more importantly, I need to reload. I got a new ability, though. So Knowledge Hunter plus 8 lore. And then Magical Seal. Silence Affliction for 23 seconds on a target. But we're going to reload anyway. I'm going to unequip Penumbra and try and use that as a replacement for the Silent Archive. Because it offered me the... Like I said, I could do that, but I didn't know I had to unequip it. If that's what I have to do. We'll see. Like it says, when I click on here, move the scroll and replace it with one of your artifacts to keep the protective magics from ending. Like, it's telling me I can do it, but it's not letting me do it. How do I...
I got it.
How do I do it? Do I have to have it equipped?
I'll just hold on to this.
It's not letting me swap it out. I feel like I should be able to just put this in there, right? Slow down. That's a load-bearing scroll. Move it. The preservation magic will fizzle. Well, let me swap it out. It says that I can right here, but it's not letting me do it. Do I need a different... Oh, maybe I need to use the Staff of Hours. I don't know if I want to do that, though. Well, I guess I don't have a choice. I tried. I didn't want to bring down the library because there's that section
Making
above.
things worse. Stop making things worse.
There's a section above I thought I could explore if I cleared the Edict of Fire, but if I collapse the library, I can't access it. I mean, maybe it had to be in my general inventory and not in like a personal inventory, like where I put them. I don't know, I'm not happy about that. If I had known all the running involved, should have just accepted the flames. Speaking of which, shouldn't the edict be resolved? Alright, yeah. Slightly different dialogue that time. Also disappointed I couldn't... whatever. I tried to do it a different way. It didn't let me. I've already read all this. Just blast through all this real fast. I'm really disappointed because it said that I could swap out an artifact for the Silent Archive. I wonder if it's a specific artifact that I need. I mean, the note mentioned the Staff of Hours, which I put in my inventory here. So, I don't know.
I was built for this.
So Silent Archive. So Brilliance plus 1 Wits, Tenacity plus 1 Resolve, of Secrets plus 10 Trap Detection. This glowing scroll is decorated with runes that seem to twist and swim about the parchment whenever you try to read them. That'd be good on Lantry. And I'll give that to Barrett, because Barrett hardly takes any damage now. He doesn't need the regen. But the immunity to Frightening Terrified is really good for a tank to have. Don't want him running around scared like that. I'm going to call the episode here, and the next one will speak to these people here, and then we'll go report to Graven Ash. We'll swing by the spires first and deal with any research and stuff that we need to do before that. But yeah, I'm disappointed with the results of this. I was really hoping I could put one of my artifacts into the on that altar. Oh well, either way, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.